What up? Peace, fam. It's your brother Cool. Out here again, working on another one, man. So, I swear to God, I'm loving the beautiful weather, man. So, as you can see, people out here singing and shit. So everyone's in good spirits too. The energies of the sun they tend to do that to the soul. I've been getting this question very often during these past 2 weeks. Or I should say during these past two strongs, right? Because I don't see why we call these things weeks when we know what being weak is. You know what I'm saying? You weak. Just replace that A with an E, and it's a week. And then they call it a weekend. You know what I'm saying? You start your weekend, because at the end, at your week's end, you got to start work again. You got to start that shift again on Monday. So that weekend, I don't want a weekend. I want a strong end or a strong finish and a strong start. So my whole perception of things is starting to change, you know what I'm saying, by the days. So I'm not even looking at these things as weeks no more. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the teachings also in the principles of the gods of earth, you know what I'm saying, the five percenters. Islam. Islam to the family. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, these are strongs, man. No more weeks, no more weekends. Strongs and strong finishes, alright? So that being said, the question I've been getting throughout these past two strongs have been, you know what? The reason why I paused just now because I'm thinking about how to correct this in my brain. So what I'm gonna do is, because as indigenous peoples, we have the right to rename everything, right? Create our own languages and sustain ourselves. So, Wella. That's what's gonna be the name of the week from now on. My native tongue, Wella. Wella. Wella means 1 week. So, two Wellas, alright? Over these past two Wellas, I have realized that I talk a lot about trust. I talk a lot about estate. But, and I try to do my best to try to relate that to, everyday situations that we as people go through on a daily basis, dealing in this system. What I kind of realize is that, one of the questions that, what I'm saying, one of my family asked me was, how do I use my trust? How do I use my trust? And this was a valid question in my mind because I'm like, no one asked me point blank out like that. How do I use it? It's like yes and no, I've been asked that. But I don't know, for some reason, the way it was posed to me a couple days ago, it resonated differently within me and caused me to come and make this video today. So, you know what I'm saying? Upon seeing what's happening, before we do anything, right? Before we get to the how, you gotta first be one with the why. What is your why? You know what I'm saying? Like the Merovingian said in the Matrix Reloaded, the second one. That was the second Matrix. You know what I'm saying? When Morpheus and Trinity and Neo were looking for the keymaker, and they went with him to go have dinner in his you know what I'm saying, in his jurisdiction. You know what I mean? He was like, you come to me with no why. The no why means no power. So your power is in your why. What is your purpose? Just like you have any organization, you ask, what is the mission of this organization? What is your why for being in existence? What is the power of you being created? So, the why of a trust, first off. For one, the why is simply put, when you die, right? When you die, you grow, you have children, you build a family, aka build your own tribe, right? What do you want to happen to the things you acquire while you're here? Do you want them to be given away to charity? Do you want um, do you want to give them to your family members? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Would you want to leave some things behind for your children, their children's children? That they can look back and say, look, this is great, 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 great grandma, great dad. This is what they did for us. Or you can do none of the above and you can just operate how you operate now, which is use the Social Security on a daily basis to get jobs, open bank accounts, do finance, buy property, thinking that you're going to own it. And then once you pass or transition, then the state of, right, wherever you're at. So for me, I'm in Washington State. The name of the entity that does business over here in the territory of Washington State is the state of Washington. So now the state of Washington, I'll show them use an example. The state of Washington now, what if I don't do any of the above, what the state of Washington can do is when I transition, they'll take my estate, which is being held within that Social Security number, or that Social Security account, let me rephrase, right? They'll take my estate, they'll make the assumption that I was dead my entire life, even though I lived, right? So from the day that I was born to the time that I die, they're going to make the presumption that I was never alive. I died really early, okay? I died as soon as the entity was created, and I never came back, meaning that it's just assumed that I'm gone, all right? But the estate is still here. But the person who owns it, meaning the baby, right? Because if you look at IRS manual, I may be saying this wrong, but if you go back to how to create your own foreign entity, that section when you're going into IRS manual, so I believe it's 21.21.17.6.3.3.3.3. I think that's the one. I may be a number off. But when you go into that definition or that instance, right? What it states that, man, hold on, let me just go grab this thing real quick. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, so I found what I was looking for. A couple of, you know what I'm saying, documents and stuff. Woo-dee-doo. So, first off, you need to know what you're dealing with. You need to know what you're dealing with, okay? So, see if I can be let's see how clear this is. You understand what I'm saying? So let's see, and I can even flip this for the time being. Can I? No, I cannot. That's how we're gonna rock this, alright? I want you to get a good look. I don't feel like I'm doing this justice, but trying my best. Make sure you guys got a good look. I'm hoping this is a good picture. You know what I'm saying? What you're looking at. Okay? I know it's hard to see things. I know it's hard to see things in the sunlight. And everything is okay. Here we go. Yeah. We can do this like this. There we go. So you see that? Get a good look at that, all right? This is what we dealing with. District. All right, so this is the United States of America Incorporated. You see that? It's a non-for-profit religious corporation incorporated in Delaware. Okay? Corporation number and all that. Registered agent, all that. So this ain't shit I'm making up. All right, you go look that up for your damn self. All right, don't believe nothing I say. So, understanding that when we're talking about the United States, and mind you, yes, they have different codes and statutes. The United States has several different meanings, but the one that stands out to me is USC Title 28, Section 15, subsections A and B. Okay, so that's 28, 15, I'm sorry, Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15, A and B. My bad. Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15. All right, Title 28 deals with judicial and judiciary procedure. I'm going to repeat that again. Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15, A and B, deals with judicial and judiciary procedure. And so when you go into subsection 15, that's dealing with definitions. All right? What subsection 15 states is that the United States, when it comes to dealing in judicial and judiciary procedure, all right, the United States is a federal corporation. The United States is a federal corporation. If you go to court, if you get something in the mail, talking about come to court, yeah, that's Title 28. That's dealing with judicial and judiciary procedure. Hey, come to court on this date. You've been summoned. You've been charged with this. All this is dealing with court. Federal corporation. All right? You need to know that. And the filing number is 219-3946. All right? So this ain't, and it was incorporated because, you know, the United States has been bankrupt a couple times. So this particular incorporation took place on April 19th, 1989. Okay? In Newcastle County. Anyway, so understanding what we're dealing with, right? So the reason why I went straight for Title 28, 3002, is because anytime you're talking about paperwork and going to court and dealing with things of the matter, you're dealing with judicial and judiciary procedure. And when it comes to judicial and judiciary procedure, the United States is a federal corporation. Point blank, period. Not up for debate. Good. So I found what I was looking for. All right. So I'm gonna come over here again. And this is, I'll be working. You know what I'm saying? So I've been creating my own statutory claim. Okay? Because you need to understand your position with that estate that we call a Social Security. Your Social Security account. All right? So check this out. See this? I know you guys can see all this stuff right here. All right? So there's the section right there, 21.7.13.3.2.2. Okay? Taxpayer identification number. All right? So we're going to scroll down. So mind you, what I'm reading, you can find right there, 21.7.13.3.2.2. Put that up in the Google link and just hit the link. All right? So I want you to look at this second line here, the one with the bold. You know what I'm saying? So the second bullet point, the second bullet line, right? And it starts by saying, an infant is the decedent of an estate. So just so y'all know, decedent means a dead person, someone who died, someone who is deceased will be called a decedent. Okay, so it says an infant. An infant is the decedent of an estate. We're gonna keep reading because I don't want you to believe what I'm saying, right? An infant is the decedent of an estate, or, you know what or means? Or means you got an option. Either you can be this or you can be that. So, infant is the decedent of an estate, or grantor, owner, custodian, or trustor of a trust, guardianship, receivership, or custodianship that has yet to receive a Social Security number. So that right there lets you know that the Social Security account is an estate. It is a trust. Okay? So we don't need to second guess. We don't need to guess about that, right? So it's a trust. According to the IRS manual, the Social Security is a trust. All right? So now, when it comes to that Social Security, you can be either two things. right? Because the first question is, for instance, for me, right? Who was the baby that was yet to receive the Social Security card, but yet the estate was made for them? Who's the grantor owner of that? Who has yet to receive the Social Security? Because I didn't get my Social Security card when I was a baby, meaning it wasn't in my hand. I wasn't competent to know what to do with that. I was just a baby. I was an infant. So I wasn't in a position where I could properly receive it and take claim and control of it, right? Someone had to be over me, like my mommy and my daddy, all right, to hold it for me until I become an age. So now, understanding in that section right there, it says you can be either two things in relation to that Social Security account. You can be either, and it's referencing the infant, right? The infant. Who's the infant? That was the baby who that account was created for, right? Who's the infant? So it says the infant can be a decedent, a deceased, or a grantor, owner. All right. So either you could be dead, or you could be alive. So what they're saying is that when we are born, and the birth certificate is created, we are considered deceased, right? They make us a decedent. What you don't know is if you're that infant that Social Security account was made for, and you don't let it be known that you're alive and well and not deceased, then you can't claim control of that estate. And don't even think about doing any of this. I repeat, don't even think about even doing any of this stuff. If you have not declared on the public record for the world to know your nationality, and you letting them know that you are not Negro, black, and colored, that you are Aboriginal to this land, whatever tribe you come from, whatever you resonate. See, because I don't go around telling people they need to be Moors. Everyone here, everyone who's Aboriginal to the land is a Moor, whether you know that or not. But I'm not going to be the one to sit there and be, you a Moor. If you say anything else but Moor, you're screwed. No. You need to claim that you are Aboriginal to this land. Claim your ancestry. Whatever that name is to you, claim it. For me, it's Moorish American, because I understand within that diaspora and paradigm, our history goes deep. All right? Moor is synonymous with land. So when you're talking about Moors, you're talking about land. So if we are the natural peoples of the land, then yes, we are Moors. Even when your mom is holding you in her belly for 9 months before she delivers you in labor, that's called mooring. Mooring. That's when you're being created with no tools, with no chisels, and no drills in your mama's belly. That's called mooring, okay? The first learning room, or the first classroom. But not to get too much off topic. So, if you don't know who you are, first off, and you don't know you're not black, Negro, or colored, we don't even think about this. Make sure you know who you are first before you go out into the world and try to do adult things. Okay? If you don't know that you're an heir, this is not one of those things where you fake it till you make it. You cannot fake it in this particular arena or this jurisdiction. There is nothing to be fake. You know why? Because this whole jurisdiction is built off of being fake. So therefore, if you are to being fake, then you're going to fall right in line with the system, because the whole system in itself is fake. So if you want to be fake, then be fake with the system. But if you want to be real, that means you're going to have to come up out of the fakeness. For real. For real, for real. You got to come out the fakeness. You can't be half fake and half real. You got to be all the way real. So we can differentiate between what's real and what's fake. Okay? So understanding that. When we were born, we were made to be deceased or decedent. We were claimed to be dead, lost at sea. And if you're lost at sea for over 7 years, right? What was I doing at age 7? Let me see here. Age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4. I had my birthday party at 6. I remember that one. You know what I'm saying? I believe I started school at about 5. At about 5. So what, 7? At 7, you got kindergarten. Maybe 7 years old. I was what? In like first or second grade? You know what I'm saying? So at the age of 7, the same time that I'm being declared to be a decedent and lost at sea, I'm 7 years old, not even thinking about that shit. I don't even know what the hell an estate is, a trust. All I know is I'm alive, and whatever the fuck I'm doing in that moment, I'm happy in it. I'm not even thinking about that. But this is what's going on. So every child today that's 7 years old, and they fall under the auspices of being black African American, you know what I'm saying? And they don't have no origins in people, they don't have no nationality, at the age of 7, in the system, they're considered to be dead. So for all y'all parents, I'm sorry, let me rephrase, because a parent is a guardian, and a guardian doesn't mean that they have biological relation. You see what I'm saying? I could adopt a child today and become the parent or guardian of that child. Doesn't mean I'm the biological father. You figure deal me? So a parent or guardian is not someone who has blood ties to the child. You got to make sure you be very specific, right? Because guardians can change. Parents can change. You can't change your mother. You can't change your father. You only got one of those. You got one mother. You get one mother. You get one father. All right. Those are definite. Those are vested positions of nobility within the universe. That's the contract. Mother, father. Grantor, trustee, the children, beneficiary. Period. That's the trust between the universe and us, okay, when we reprocreate. So, at the age of 7, I'm chilling, I'm living life. I don't know anything about this stuff going on in the background, but I'm dead. In the eyes of the law, I'm dead. And I didn't know about it. My parents didn't know about it. So, what that tells you is once again, that account is a trust. And you, unless because you have been assumed to be dead at sea. Now, if you don't grab yourself a Black's Law Dictionary, you should look up what civil little mortuus means. You know what civil little mortuus means? It means dead in the eyes of the law. Civilly dead. You know what civilly deals with? Civilization. So according to that IRS code, from the IRS manual, if you don't proclaim to be alive and well and in charge of your estate, then you are considered to be deceased, meaning you in the color of law. You colored. You understand what I'm saying? You're not rooted in anything real, which is why you're considered deceased, even though you're still walking and shit. You could be walking and talking. I was walking and talking at 7, but in terms of civilization, I was dead. All right. So now, this is for all of us, because we're, as we can, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to see the progression in thought patterns. So eventually, we're going to get to a point where we're running all of this shit again. Right? There will be no Europeans anywhere. They're going to be out of mind, out of sight. I'm sorry, not Europeans. I mean Caucasians. They're going to be out of mind and out of sight because their time to reign is over. So soon, we will be running all of these offices again. Okay? The choice is, are you dead in reference to your estate, or are you alive in reference to your estate? Because even though the Social Security number is an account created, okay, by England, right? That account belongs to the Queen. You got to understand something. See, people don't really understand the whole scoop or the whole scope of how the treaty operates and the relation we have with the Queen of England and the Pope and all that. You got to understand. No one can enter into anyone's house without permission. No one enters anyone's house and leaves unscathed unless they have permission. If you were to force your way into someone's house, you're going to leave fucked up. Best believe that. Because nobody is going to tolerate anybody forcing themselves into anyone's house. Don't matter who you are. You're going to get some type fucked up. All right? So, if you can comprehend that, right? No one can colonize us without no repercussions. So what that tells me is, you know what I'm saying, in reference to the whole scope, That treaty gave them permission. That was our permission. You know why? Because we were warring with them, right? Weren't we kidnapping them and holding them for ransom? Didn't we put Caucasians in slavery first? Weren't we the ones doing commerce, trading in Caucasian women and using the Caucasian women to trade? Yes, we did that shit. Were we not the ones, the pirates, the Barbary pirates, who was capturing them, holding them for captive, holding them for ransom, ignoring treaties that we said we would honor, ignoring treaties that we said we would honor, but then we want to get tight when the Europeans don't honor some of their treaties over there. Where do you think they got that habit from? They got that habit of not honoring treaties from us because we wasn't honoring their treaties that we had with them. We were still capturing them. We were still taking them for hostage. We were still taking their women as concubines. We were still doing some fucked up shit. Therefore, karma is karma. All right, karma is karma. So when the treaty was signed, okay, that was to give the United States a chance to build themselves because they didn't have shit after the Civil War. They were completely destitute, no resources. They're at ground zero. So the last thing they needed was some Moors who look like you and me, taking hold of their ships, taking hold of their women, holding them for ransom. That's the last thing they needed because they didn't have anything of value to offer besides, well, of course, work and women. All right? This is why slavery is so popular. Work and women. All right? Work and women. W and W. Work and women. That's what it's all based off. Work and women. Or maybe it's work the women. Because if you can work the women, the men will follow behind the women. So just work the women. Either way, right? So what the treaty did was, all right, because our cousins who were warring and who wanted to leave the rulership of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, all right, because they saw how we lived over here. We was cool. Everyone was their own king or queen. We didn't have to answer to one king or queen. Everyone had their own shit, all right? So once we helped them gain their freedom, that's what the whole Civil War was about, all right? We were fighting side by side next to our cousins from over there so that they can have their freedom, the same thing we had. We wanted them to experience, right? We always come from a good place, man. You better believe that. We always come from a good place, from a positive place. So when the war was won, our cousins did the most retarded shit you could ever think to do, right? They went back to the same people who they was warring with for their freedom, and they took out a loan. They took out a loan. So guess what? All that fighting you just did put your ass right back in debt of the same motherfuckers you fought to gain your freedom from. All right? Now understand this. Once they came back under the jurisdiction of Queen Isabella and Ferdinand, which was a fucking waste, right? Because we lost a lot of people in that war trying to help our cousins gain their freedom. So, that being said, they fell back under their jurisdiction by taking out the loan, okay? So now at that point, what do you, as Aboriginal people, how do you think we feeling about the whole shit? We like, nigga, we just helped you fight. And you gonna fucking go back to the motherfuckers we just helped you fight to break free from and to take out a loan so you can go right back under their jurisdiction? You better off staying over in Europe then, cuh? So, that's what happened, right? Now, after that loan was taken, okay, and then put back under the jurisdiction, now guess what? They're not free. They can't freely go where they want. They need the approval of the queen again now. So guess what? Being the fact that they were in such low resources, the queen helped with that. All right? After they received help with that, part of that deal, which was made with the Aboriginals here, okay, was to allow the subjects of the queen to have or do business over here in North America. So literally, and when I say literally, I mean literally, all these different races of people and nationals who can come over here and naturalize, or immigrants or people who are coming from England, they come over here, they naturalize, You know what I'm saying? They become citizens, or they're already citizens of the United States, and they're doing business, but their ancestry comes from England. All of those people are here due to the granting of that treaty. And what treaty you talk about? I'm talking about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1786. But if you really want to talk about the real treaty, I'm talking about the Treaty of Marrakesh. That's what it's really called. Okay? The treaty, so the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, okay, is what allows for the Queen to conduct business here. And when I say the Queen, who works for the Pope, what I'm saying is the state ofs, because the state ofs are all corporations. All those corporations, principal business, are located in Europe, even though the incorporation state is Delaware. Okay? The principal place of business is in Europe, okay, underneath the jurisdiction of the Queen, who's under the jurisdiction of the Pope. All right? So all these so-called immigrants, like I said, and Europeans who are here claiming to be Americans, but they're really Europeans, whichever branch of that European family they come from, they're here by the granting of that treaty. So anytime they're fucking us over, anytime they're fucking us up over here, it looks bad on them. That's why the Pope had to come over here and do a whole fucking apology, right? Niggas ain't doing this shit just for face sake, okay? There's real things happening, all right? There's other nations who are coming after these niggas' throats. The same time we coming after their throats. The same time we waking up and getting ready to come after their throats. There's other nations who been coming after their throats. I'm talking about 50 years, 100 years, 150 years, 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. We just waking up now. All right? We are late to the party. Let's get that straight. We are late to the fucking party. All right? So anytime, and mind you, the fact that we, for a good 3 generations, which is about 300 years, all right? Because slavery in the United States happened to our great-grandmother. That's 3 generations, all right? So the United States, I'm sorry, let me not fray too far. So pretty much the Queen, all right, anytime there's some fuck up over here, and it happens to the Aboriginal peoples here, but we don't classify ourselves as Aboriginals, there's no foul, there's no harm. Right? Because no one goes to court, there's no consequences, there's no nothing, none of that shit. However, if we once again begin to self-identify ourselves as Aboriginal and Americans, okay, then guess what? That's putting pressure back on the Queen again, you know, because there's no pressure for damaging property. If you call yourself black, Negro, and color, you consider someone else's property. There ain't no consequences for damaging property. All right, so this is why it's important to self-identify and put on the record that you are Aboriginal and claim that shit and let the world know. Send correspondence to different nations and nationalities. Let them know that you in the fight too. Don't let them keep thinking that we out to lunch. We is not out to lunch. Okay? So this is why immigrants can come here and they do business, right? Immigration and whatever. So all that's based off the fact that a treaty is in place. If there was no treaty in place, there is no other type of races or nations of people who could come here and do what they can do over here in terms of create a life for themselves, make success, and all that. They wouldn't be able to do none of that stuff without a treaty in place. So let's, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget about the source. So with that being said, the Social Security, yes, it's underneath the jurisdiction of the Queen, but it's there for our benefit, even though we don't own it. You know what I'm saying? We control it. We don't own it. You see that Social Security? We own it. We don't, we control it. We don't own it. Right? Because everything in the 14th Amendment realm is fictitious. That's why everything is in all caps. You would never, in your right mind, write your name in all caps if you was writing it down on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So it's fictitious. So therefore, anything you see in all caps is fictitious. It's not you, whether it's in your free national name or not. Even if it looks like the way you spell your name, it's not you. Keep that in mind. It's an estate. It's not you. It's an estate. So part of the treaty was that the Queen, who's under the jurisdiction of the Pope, is allowed to do business here in Atlan, or the land of frogs, or Egypt of the West, or Amexem, or Turtle Island. You understand? So they're able to come over here and do business. As a consequence of being able to do business here, because no matter what they got and they've built here, you need land to build it on. Okay? Meaning we're the original creditors, because we are the landlords. We're the lords of the land. You understand what I'm saying? So understanding that everything is paid for already, because the very things that are in existence would not be in existence if our land wasn't in place first. See, you can't forget about the source. You can't forget about mama. Mama is the land. You don't got nothing unless it's built on the land. Even these cell phone towers and shit, to wear cell phones, people can call and make connection. You need that cell phone tower is built on the land. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why, when it comes to HJR 192, which is codified in USC 12441, you understand how everything is paid for already, because we have the land. Now, if we believe that we're deceased, the infant, if we're the infant and we're believed to be deceased, we can't have any access or relief or restitution to our estate. But the moment we prove that we are alive and well, meaning come out of that sleep state of black, African American, Negro, colored, and come back to a sense of nationality and national principles, then guess what? You are alive again. You are no longer civil little mortus. You are in full life. Okay? And being in full life means, hey, there's an estate here that was created for an infant. Where's the infant? Hey, I'm alive. What's up? Take care of that. You know why? Because you're the grantor. You're the owner. You're the owner. You're the owner. You know why you're the owner? Because you're the one financing everything. You know why you're the one financing everything? Because this is your land. Nothing can be gained on this land without the approval of God. So if we're suffering right now, it's only because we've approved it. So I think it's time to decline and start declining. You know what I mean? So this is how this thing operates. So I did that just to say that that Social Security is a trust. It is an estate. Don't need to run from it. No need to run from it. This is why the Prophet El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali also said that no need to give anything back. Don't return your stuff back. Hold on to that shit, because it's yours. Because when those Moors who come in with their eyes wide open, they're gonna see exactly what I was talking about. I know what the Prophet was talking about. That's exactly what he was. That right there is what he was talking about. When he said, "Moors, you are simply rich. You don't even know it. You are just rich." Why would somebody say that? And we thinking, man, we so poor. We so, living this lifestyle of poverty. We're so impoverished. But then you got a man who says we're just simply rich. We just don't even fucking know it. That's what he was talking about. We are the owners of the greatest and largest estate on the planet, and we don't even know it. And according to law and according to society, civilly, we're out to lunch, aka we're deceased, or we're decedent, we're dead. We're out to lunch. Come back. Lunchtime is over. All right? So when you're proclaiming and declaring yourself to be alive and in full life and a national and to have ancestry and blood ties to this land, yes, you are considered to be alive again. But don't ever think that a black African American person can be considered alive, because they ain't got no origins in people. Don't do it to yourself. Even the Mexican people want to talk shit about Mexicans. Mexicans have a treaty. Where's the treaty for black and African American people? So don't talk shit about my brothers and sisters, because they have a treaty here too. It's called the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe. All right? That's the treaty between all those Uto-Aztecan tribes, which is still us, that was all around that Califia territory. Because all of that, Califa, California, Arizona, Texas, you know what I'm saying, Utah, all that was part of all that was part of California. Okay? All that was part of California. Why? Because California was a country. Okay? So even our Mexican people have a treaty in deck. So this is why people want to get mad and feel some type of way when they come over here, and it may feel like they have more opportunity to do better over here than we do. You know why? Because they still operate under treaty. They still got a treaty. Unless they just don't want to acknowledge it, then they're in the same boat as we. But they have a treaty in place. All right? So we don't need to talk shit about the Mexicans. Where your treaty at? More. You understand? So the time for bickering and dick measuring and, you know, taking energy out of your time and your day and your space to 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 make someone else look bad. You don't need to do that. Let the universe do its work. Get the hell out the way and get back to what you need to do. Don't waste your time trying to do the universe's work. Because if someone is not legit and if someone is not on their square, the universe will reveal that. You don't need to make it your personal mission to prove that this person is evil. Let life show it. For those who will see, they will see. For those who have the ears, they will hear. If not, they're just gonna get screwed over. Because the best teacher in life is experience. All right. So understanding that this is the mindset you need to have. When you're talking about, does it put you back under the jurisdiction? No. You're not dead anymore. You're not deceased. You have reclaimed ownership. And mind you, that's just a rough draft. I didn't even really go through my whole. That's my own personal statutory claim. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like to just take other people's stuff and then just copy and paste it. I like to take what I see and make it my own. You know what I'm saying? So it can be original. So it can have my energy all over it. That's how I like to do that. So that right there, that template is like about 13 pages long. Let me see. I haven't filed anything like that. I did send over my SF-181. However, I realizing later on that I should have sent it out with my statutory claim.